It's 11 o'clock in St. Kitts Nevis. Good morning. And welcome to another edition of Voices. It's Wednesday, December 7, 2022. And I have the pleasure of hosting today's Voices, on which we'll have guests from the Consumer Affairs Department. You guys know we've got 2 more VAT days coming up. There's been talk of inflation in the news and rising prices and all of this. And of course, our listeners, Kittitians and Divisions, have their questions, complaints, comments about things that affect consumers in St. Kitts Nevis. So we'll be discussing that with our 2 panelists from the Consumer Affairs Department. First, we'll get a word from our sponsors, Rams, Flow, and TDC, and we'll come right back and get into it.
Campari, grapefruit, easy fi we. Brother, he no hard it, easy fi we. Campari, in a cup, easy fi we. Brother, he no hard it, easy fi we. Add the Campari with the grapefruit soda. That easy, bitter had the pre. Simple mixer, easy 1 3. Campari, grapefruit, that easy fi we. To mix a Campari grapefruit, add 1 part Campari to 3 parts grapefruit soda. Drink at the bar, on the beach, or when a girl reach. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. Flow! Jingle all the way home to Flow, where the speed is faster and price is better. All the way home to Flow. Merry connections that bring us together. Yeah.
Christmas starts the moment you go postpaid with Flow. Because when you do, you get a free smartphone. Plus, you get 20 gigabytes of data, unlimited WhatsApp and YouTube, and 4,000 local minutes. That's our Christmas jingling your way to keep family close anywhere, every day.
All the way home to Flow.
Visit discoverflow.co for more information.
This holiday season, a loan from TDC Financial Services is for me and for you. Up to $85,000 for any purpose. So top up for my food business, repairs on the house, and all the styles for Sugar Mass 51. And of course, sorting out my kids for back to school. Hear what my friend had to say about her experience.
Girl, I love to get my holiday loan at TDC Financial Services. It is less hassle and you get the loan fast.
So you see, TDC Financial Services is the place to get what you need this Christmas. A loan for me and a loan for you. Terms and conditions apply.
WinFM reserves the right to disconnect any caller who infringes a law or offends the right of any person. The station will also refuse to take any call from any person who, in WinFM's considered opinion, is likely to expose the station to liability for statements made on the air.
And welcome to Voices. It's 4 minutes after 11 o'clock. This is Jamsa sitting in. We've got a panel from the Consumer Affairs Department, and of course, we'll be taking your calls at some point, so listen up. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. So how about you go ahead and introduce yourselves, and we can get the ball rolling.
Okay. Hi, good morning. My name is Tricia Rawlings, and I am the Communications Officer for the Consumer Affairs Department here in St. Kitts. And I am joined by my colleague, Ms. Trista Watley-Stennett, and she is an inspection officer with over 15 years of experience in the same department.
Morning.
Okay, just a bit of background information about the department. The Consumer Affairs Department is the agency responsible for enforcing consumer protection laws. The work of the department is conducted in 3 areas. We conduct market research. We monitor the prices of items sold within the government price monitoring program. We engage in consumer awareness programs. The Consumer Affairs Department aims to stop unfair, deceptive, and fraudulent business practices by investigating and resolving consumer complaints and educating consumers and businesses about their rights and responsibilities. The 8 basic consumer rights are the right to safety, the right to satisfaction of basic needs, the rights to be heard, the right to choose, the right to a healthy environment, the right to be informed, the right to redress, the right to consumer education. As it pertains to the responsibilities of the consumer, consumers should shop carefully, understand the terms of sale, save receipts, ask questions at point of sale, get guarantees in writing, read and follow instructions, and keep informed about new products. So it's that time of year, and unless you're a proactive person who manages to shop a little throughout the entire year and have all of your holiday shopping done before December, you are probably just starting to gear up for the gift-giving season. It's far too easy to go overboard and blow your budget at this time of year. So to help consumers navigate their holiday shopping, the Consumer Affairs Department wishes to share some tips that can aid consumers in making informed decisions. So the first tip is to create a budget and stick to it. Make your holiday shopping list ahead of time. Decide how much you will spend and what you will need. Shop around and compare price and quality in order to get the best deal. Do your best to resist impulse buying. Make purchases securely. Please don't fall victim to scams that put your bank and personal data or money at risk. Be careful when shopping and making online payments. Consumers are asked to research pre-sale prices. Shopping around early and knowing the original price of a sale item can help you determine if the discount is worth the purchase. Be mindful as some retailers mark prices upward and then take a discount off, so it looks like a great deal. By knowing the pre-sale price, you will be able to spot suspicious prices and avoid falling for tricks disguised as deals. Another tip, consider DIY gifts. Not only could homemade gifts save you money during the holidays, but they'll feel much more personal to the recipient than the same item bought in store. So plan ahead to give yourself enough time to purchase needed materials or ingredients to make that gift. Example, if you're going to bake someone a batch of cookies or you're going to be knitting a hat. An important tip, don't get carried away by specials. When I say specials, I mean like those that say buy one, get one free, buy one, get 50% off. Don't buy more than you need. You are entitled to redress for goods or services that are of poor or deceptive quality. You are not entitled to a refund if you simply change your mind about your purchase or start experiencing buyer's remorse. Let's take, for example, VAT-reduced shopping days are fast approaching, and many consumers are excited to shop around this time. Please be advised that it is at the discretion of the retailer to offer redress in situations where merchandise is not of poor or deceptive quality, but rather a change of the consumer's mind. We ask that consumers check store policies in advance. Pay attention and ask about return policies and the time allotted for returns. This is very important, especially in cases where you are making the purchase as a gift. Retailers should also display their refund or their return policies conspicuously for customers' attention. Keep all your receipts as proof of purchase and keep unused merchandise in its original packaging. Also, a few general Christmas safety tips. Never leave your young children alone with candles, lamps, and matches. Do not leave valuables in plain view, especially in your vehicle. Do not sign hire purchase agreements without reading every word. Get a guarantee or warranty for all appliances. Test all appliances in the store before leaving. And unplug Christmas tree lights when you leave the house or you're going to bed. So even though we as a country, we're still facing a bit of economic uncertainty, many consumers consider seasonal shopping and gift giving a necessity. So it is our hope that these shopping tips and advice help you to make this year's shopping experience stress-free and enjoyable for all.
Okay, now I know that the Consumer Affairs Department is a fairly new department, right? It was about maybe 15 years old. I guess fairly new compared to the rest of the government structure and agencies and so on. One of the questions I wanted to ask, online shopping again is also a fairly new thing. So, could you tell me a little bit about the extent and the limits of the Consumer Affairs Department in terms of maybe regulating and regulating online shopping? Is there anything that that you can maybe hold the banks to? I just wondered if there's any. No. No. Okay.
What we can do, normally when we have situation like this, we would, if somebody comes and make a complaint to say like they were fraudulent activities on their cards or whatever, we can basically have them fill out the form and we could investigate it for them. But most of the times, what we would encourage them to do that they go to the bank themselves and speak, because they would know of all the transactions and what happened, what time, and so forth. We can only go by what they say. But the bank has a clause that basically would protect the consumers with their privacy clause. So we would encourage the consumers to go and take the necessary actions with the bank themselves.
So you would say that on our end, it's basically self-regulated by the banks, and
the banks would have, because
okay.
we don't when it comes around banks and so forth, the NTRC would deal with those issues. Remember, there's a regulatory body that would, with the banks and so forth. So, and even with Central Bank, they would do those things.
Okay, because of course, remember you have a very small percentage of internal online shopping, like with maybe someone makes an order from KFC or Burger King, or, and they have it delivered, and they stay at home and they do that, and we all know that there was an uptick in that because of COVID and so on.
Yes.
So, any plans? I'm assuming that system works. I'm assuming that system works, and you guys don't see any reason for maybe whipping them into shape regulation-wise. It seems to work mostly, you would say?
Well, persons like the online shopping, because for me,
No, I meant the internal stuff.
The internal part of it.
Even though it's small, but
Yeah.
Okay. My other question is, now we have the VAT days coming up, and how? Now, first, what's your staff like at the Consumer Affairs?
We have about 11 or 12 persons.
12 persons. So, Ms. Rollins was talking about checking the prices because you have a lot of cute merchants out there, right? And
we have had.
So how do you? I mean, I'm assuming you would need. I'm assuming it becomes even more pressing coming up to the VAT days. How do you guys marshal all these stores and stuff in terms of going maybe a week before, a few days before, to checking on prices and doing comparisons to the actual VAT days? How does that work?
Well, what our staff do, we would normally visit places. Take, for example, like TDC, hospital and so forth. We would normally get the prices of certain items, and we would have the prices there because we work closely with Inland Revenue on that day. So Inland Revenue staff and Consumer Affairs staff would go around to check to make sure that, yes, the consumers are actually getting the discounted, And as you know, it's not all business places would normally be exempted from the VAT. Inland Revenue would have their reasons as to why they don't approve, or they do approve for different companies. It's not us. So what we would do, we get the listing from them, and our teams would be linked with the Inland Revenue staff, and both department staff would go to on the day to visit these places.
Okay, great. It's 11:15, And we have Trista and Trisha from the Consumer Affairs Department. We're going to take a quick break here from our sponsors, and we'll come back. And of course, we'll take some of your questions.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Flow! Jingle all the way home to Flow, where the speed is faster and price is better. All the way home to Flow. Merry connections that bring us together, yeah.
Christmas starts the moment you bundle your Flow internet with your Flow mobile. Because when you do, you get a free laptop. Plus, you get 100 megabits per second internet speed, 20 gigabytes of data, 4,000 local minutes, and unlimited WhatsApp and YouTube. That's our Christmas jingling your way to keep family close for Christmas and every day.
All the way home to Flow.
Visit discoverflow.co for more information.
Choose your way to instant savings on Friday 9th and Saturday 10th December at the TDC Home and Building Depot. We're giving our customers the chance to pick your discount for not just one, but 2 days with up to 40% discount in stores. This weekend, go where the best savings are. Choose your discount. Shop at everyone's favorite retail stores, the TDC Home and Building Depots. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Buster! We run things are run we. Buster! Buster! Living color, do it differently. Buster! Buster! Large and in charge, like for the party. Buster! Buster! We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste. Buster, bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster, live in full color.
Buster!
11:17, and we're back here on Voices. Jamster, your host for this morning. Consumer Affairs, we've got Trisha and Trista from Consumer Affairs, and we will be taking your questions as well. And of course, we've got 2 VAT days coming up. Remind me of those dates, ladies. Those is the 16th and the 17th?
The 16th and the 17th.
Okay. Now, is there anything else you guys might maybe want to let the public know before we open the phone lines?
You can go ahead and open it.
Okay, so folks, the phone lines are open. Call whenever you like. The numbers, of course, are 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. Now, I got a question yesterday to ask you guys. The question refers to the fact that you guys can't compel merchants to change prices if the goods are not in the basket. So could you, just for people who don't know, explain what the food basket is and the difference in approach / treatment as far as making merchants keep the prices reasonable and all of that?
Well, actually, the basket of goods consists of different headings, different items headings that the government is not a matter of limiting persons or business places to a certain markup, a certain percentage markup. You take, for example, you might have, let's say chicken. Okay, we definitely don't know where the merchants are getting their chicken from. A lot of them get them from different suppliers, different countries. So there's a price markup that the government has put in place for those items, those different items in the basket of goods. It can range basically from about 1% to 10%. There's another markup that would range from 10 to 15, 20%. There are some business places that would take the full markup. If the markup is between 20 to 25%, certain businesses might take the 25% full markup. But you have to bear in mind, you have to also take into consideration the price that they pay for it, the shipping, the insurance, and of course landing costs that is here. Now, as I indicated before, somebody might take the full 25% markup, but another supermarket, another business place might end up and take just 20%, the least amount of the markup. So prices would vary between the different prices. It's not a matter that we can control what merchants or business places price the items at. Once it falls within the markup range, it is good. As I indicated before, somebody can take the full 20%, so an item might cost $20, but somebody might take the 25% and it might cost like $27, $28.
But of course, the merchants, the markup would have to take into consideration all the things you listed, like
yes,
landed costs,
yes.
maybe their profit margin and
yes.
all that stuff. Yeah.
It would take in consideration. So as we are not a pricing department. We cannot control price. The supply office closed down, as you know, in which we were regulating the price for milk, sugar, flour, and that kind of stuff, rice. So our department basically cannot control price. We're not a pricing department. What we try to educate persons most of the times that, if somebody might say it is hard that you're already in a supermarket, but if you see a price here for something that it's much too high, you don't like the price, the best thing you can do is to leave.
Okay. The next question I have is in reference to Best Buy and expiration dates, because I know I've read various articles which pointed out that the Best Buy and expiration dates for most goods don't necessarily mean the goods are bad. But what do the local regulations state as far as that goes?
If an item is expired, you cannot consume it.
Okay.
When it comes around the Best Buy, Best Before and so forth, it means that the value or the texture of the item that you're going to be using is at its highest at that point in time. After that date has gone, it means to tell you that the
Starts to degrade, probably.
Yes, goes downhill.
Okay.
Might taste bad,
Okay.
And just to add on what Trista would have just said, the officers go out on a daily, weekly basis, and they actually check these items in the supermarkets, and if they are expired, the retailer is asked to remove them from the shelf.
Okay.
And they make a note of it so that when they go back, they can tell if they actually did what they were supposed to do.
Okay. I'm going to ask a mischievous question. You know how sometimes you go to a supermarket, say, and they have a batch of, say, yogurt that they marked on maybe a week before they expire. In broad terms, are they still making a profit? I always wonder about that, because the cynical part of me says, yeah, right, yeah, yogurt's gone down to $3.99. It was $6.99. I bet you're still making a profit.
Well, they probably are still making a profit, because by the time their goods are expiring, they would have probably sold most of their items already. So they probably would have already made a profit.
Good point.
So it shouldn't be a big issue if they drop
if
the price.
Yeah, even if they made a loss and the leftovers.
Yes.
Okay, good point.
But what would you prefer to lose? You prefer to lose everything on it, or even just make $1 off of it?
Point.
But they're within their rights. If once the date is still there, hasn't gone, they're still within their rights to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't really have a problem with it, because I think it's fine, because in fact what I've noticed is that the periods before the things expire have gotten longer. Is that something to do with you guys?
No.
No.
No? Okay. No, seriously, I've noticed, like, maybe 10 years ago it used to be like 2 days before. Now sometimes it's like 10 days before, 2 weeks
Well, what
before.
happened, we have had many discussions, many meetings, workshops with the business owners and managers. So we try to encourage them, instead of waiting until the day before your stuff expired, even give it a week, and they have listened to us basically.
So it is you guys.
We have a good relationship with them, because but the thing about it is that, imagine as a consumer, I'm going to let's take, for example, a pan of cheese. When you come around dairy stuff, how tedious they can be. And you're going to just have it a day that is going to be expired. Why would I want to take home a whole pan of cheese for just 1 day of consuming it? Anything.
You like something you have 3-4 days,
Yes.
so you could kind of stretch it out. And
Yes.
then on top of that, on the day of the yogurt is probably still going to be good, right? And
Yes.
maybe the day after. So
Well, when it comes to
The
dairy
dairy, you
products,
gotta be
I
careful.
think dairy
Yeah.
is a no when it
That's
comes
true,
to
that's
yes.
true.
So
Best to be cautious.
it basically boils back to your right to choose. You don't have to buy it because it's on sale. If you see dairy products especially are expiring, and let's say you know you're lactose intolerant or you have problems when you digest dairy products, please don't just buy it because it's on sale. Don't buy it in a large proportion and then have it expire while it's in your possession and then still consume it, because dairy products are very iffy.
Come on, we're buying it because we like it. We like yogurt.
Don't just buy it because something
As
is
a matter
on
of
sale.
fact, from
I
the
know.
time you see something that is on sale, you know, check the item, see if something expires, when it's going to be expiring and so forth. When you come on sale stuff, you have to be very, very
Yes.
careful. Very, very careful. So we encourage persons, from the time you see something says sales, especially supermarkets, make sure you check the items to make sure that they're not expired, when the expiration date is going to be, you know, and so forth. Because
Yes.
sometimes, as I said, stuff might be expired and they have them there on sale.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you'll find them mixed in good stuff that would be expiring maybe in the next 2 days with some that
Yes.
have already gone and expired already.
Yeah, see me hunting for they have the flyer on the door, like the freezer door.
Yes.
And I'm hunting for the one with the one that says November 8th, but then no, all
You're
the
not
ones that
seeing
there, the ones for November 25th.
Yes.
Oh, they're gone already.
So
you know?
that's another thing we try to tell persons. You have to check because, okay, take for example, some of them might have the codes. And as you indicated, you might have the same product but different expiration dates. And by the time you go up to the cashier thinking that this one is for $10, when you look, it's actually costing $19.95.
Yes,
Because you have to
that's-
check to make sure that the barcodes, if they have the barcodes listed underneath the item with the sale price, and the item is actually corresponding.
Another question before we go to the break. And folks, don't forget the phone lines are open 466-0989, 662-0989, and 762-0989. I've got two very engaging representatives from the Consumer Affairs Department here to take your complaints, hear your comments, and answer your questions. So give me a call. Don't let this great sit down go to waste. The question is, what's the policy? This really drives me up the wall. I go to supermarkets, and a lot of stuff is not priced, and you hear the flimsy excuse. The flimsy excuse is that the prices are changing so fast that we can't put up the prices. I never heard anything so absurd in my life. No, I'm just telling it like it is. It is absurd.
James, as I said before, we have had many meetings, workshops with the managers, the supervisors of the establishments.
Okay, hold that thought. We have two calls. Let's see if we can. Okay. Wait. Let's see. Voices, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
Yes, good morning, and good to hear the folks from Consumer Affairs Department. My question is this. Can a buyer get a refund for an item purchased at an establishment? If so, under what condition? Thank you.
Yes, you can. Go ahead, Tracy.
To the caller, good morning, and refunds. Well, a refund will fall under redress, and redress is basically compensation. Now, you are not entitled to a refund if the merchandise that you have purchased or the service that you have used was not faulty, or if it was of good quality. You can't just go back to a store and say, I want a refund because when I got home, I don't think I need it. If you do that, it is at the discretion of the retailer if they want to give you a refund. But that is not something that you will bring to Consumer Affairs and we can make them give you a refund. Also, there are other ways of redress. You have, before a retailer can give you a refund, they can also offer you a replacement or offer to repair that good. So, like I said, if the good is not damaged or if it's not of poor or deceptive quality, you are not initially entitled for a refund.
So there are no actual regulations saying that people have to. So it's kind of like the honor system. You would say.
Okay.
With a lot of this is like the honor system. So we don't have any actual regulations vis-a-vis customer service.
Okay, customers should be able to get a repair, replacement, or refund if the products or goods or services do not do exactly what they're meant to do if they're defective. They also can get it based on the description of the goods. Example, on the packaging or the advertising, it says it's this item or whatever, and it doesn't match the model or what exactly it is supposed to be inside of the packaging. If it's not fit for what the seller told them exactly it was supposed to do, if the retailer, did not have the right to also sell them the product. No, what we would ask consumers to do, when it comes around refunds, replacement, or repair, that's the 3 R's, basically, what we would call the 3 R's. In terms of whether just having as saying you want a refund, it has to be basically as for real purpose. Some persons would say that they don't want the item again or whatever. It has to be defective. The item would have to be defective. They would have to find a fault with the item. They cannot just come and demand that they would want back a refund. No, there are some business places would tell you that they do not give back money. Our Consumer Affairs Act indicates that if the person, the consumer, would want like that to be redressed in terms of with seeking their money, they can get it back. When it comes around having up the signs that says no refund, no exchange and that kind of stuff, they're actually illegal in the Consumer Affairs Act.
Really?
We have actually spoken to business places numerous times to tell them to take down the signs when they will take them down. But we can't be policing the business places every day. They're supposed to know. And then what we would do, we would note. We have invited a lot of businesses to different meetings. Some shows, some don't. Some wouldn't even respond. Sometimes we even call them. But when we go there, of course they want us to be sympathetic with them. But we can't because we have invited them to actually indicate to them what the act says to educate them as much as we could. But if they don't do it, we'll just have to do what we have to do. So we have made businesses take down their no refund signs and so forth because it actually is illegal in our laws.
Thanks. I actually didn't know that. Okay, it's 11:34 Voices brought to you by TDC, Rams, and Flo, and I've got two representatives, Trista and Trisha from Consumer Affairs Department. Now, folks, I'm going to take a quick break, and don't forget, bring us your calls. They're here to answer your questions, listen to your complaints, and hear your comments. So call us, 466-0989, 662 and 762-0989.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
It's that time again. TDC Insurance is offering awesome deals in its holiday extravaganza. Buying a new car? Get up to 60% off your motor insurance, free windshield cover, 0% interest-free, cashback, and so much more. Buying a house? Save up to 30% on home insurance and additional discounts if you pair with your new car. It's crazy this holiday season at TDC Insurance with our TDC Insurance Holiday Extravaganza. Terms and conditions apply.
Faster and price is better. All the way home to Flow. Merit connections that bring us together. Yeah.
Christmas starts the moment you go postpaid with Flow. Because when you do, you get a free smartphone. Plus, you get 20 gigabytes of data, unlimited WhatsApp and YouTube, and 4,000 local minutes. That's our Christmas jingling your way to keep family close anywhere, every day.
All the way home to Flow.
Visit discoverflow.co for more information.
And we're back on Voices. It's 11:37, and we've got two representatives from the Consumer Affairs Department, Trista and Tricia, ready to take your calls on all things consumer affairs. We've got 2 VAT days coming up, so surely you guys have questions, comments, complaints, insights you want to share. So give us a call at 466-0989, 662-0989, and 762-0989. Call us. And back to the ladies.
Okay, back on the same, I think you were the one who asked about prices on shelves.
Yes, yeah, we definitely need to address that.
Okay, so the current law does not speak to prices being on shelves. So even though we would encourage retailers to always display their prices, it is not addressed in the current law. However, the new legislation that will be coming out next year should address it, and that will be the CARICOM Consumer Protection Bill. So that is already in the works.
Could you? Oh yeah, that's true. I'm glad you brought that up. Could you refresh us on that? Because I remember when was it the Prime Minister who announced it, or was it the AG? I remember that they announced some things which there were some things which I liked, like for example that there's another annoyance that I have when I go to supermarkets is, for example, say you go and you buy broccoli, right?
Yes.
And they'll just have grocery. They'll have just grocery for broccoli, apricots, and say dried tomatoes, and they're all grocery. And sometimes there's stuff there I don't even know, like greens. I love greens, and sometimes there's stuff there that I'm not sure what they are. Like I know what kale is, but I remember a couple times there was like some green stuff there, and I'm like, what is this? They have grocery on it. So and sometimes I have to go up to the cashier and say, what exactly is this? It just says grocery. I've never seen this before. What is it? So it's good to see that the regulation that the Prime Minister, I think it was, announced addressed some of those things where it said you would have to say where it came from, where it was produced, and it has to say exactly what's in the package, which I thought was great. And I'm hoping you guys could probably refresh the listeners as to the other stuff. Just it doesn't have to be in depth. Just Well,
actually, the listing in terms of with pricing, or the labeling, I must say, that would falls with the St. Kitts Bureau of Standards, Nevis Bureau of Standards,
yes,
which falls basically in we're under the same umbrella. But they actually got their bill passed in terms of it. So any persons who are doing local drinks, jams, and that kind of stuff, the agro-processing and so forth, they must be properly labeled with the ingredients, the name of the item. The price might not be on the item, but when it comes around labeling, you must have the name of the item and also the ingredients, because someone could be allergic to one of the items that are actually listed inside of the items. You are referring to the CARICOM, well, as Teresa indicated, the CARICOM Consumer Protection Bill, in which we signed on to it. We had our first reading last year, basically, in Parliament about it. So we are hoping and praying that this bill would actually become fruitful, and we would have the second and third reading, hopefully.
Not a second and third. I think because the administration has changed, it will actually have to go back in for a first reading. I want to think so.
No, once it's already once it's already there, they had a first reading about it, so it would just basically mean they have to take it back to cabinet, and they would have the dialogue and pass the bill.
Okay. So you see, folks, we got two very knowledgeable representatives from the Consumer Affairs
And
Department.
we're praying and hoping that this bill could pass soon because there are a lot of upgraded laws inside of and regulations in which we can actually charge businesses and fine them. Yeah. So
Nice. I
we are
like
hoping
that.
and praying that that could be done within the first quarter of the year.
So you guys can point out some of the CARICOM stuff, no?
But then it's not in well, basically we have take for example warranties. We have it's basically an updated thing, you know. As I said, indicated expiration date, it must appear outside of the packaging and the food products. We have another section, prohibition of respecting selling expired goods. There are a lot of different things. Disclosure of price of goods and services. The information, you must present information, proper information to the consumers. We have the right to rescind or cancel an agreement, the right with respect to delivery of goods and services. It's packed. So we're hoping.
So technically, doesn't that disclosure of price of goods and services,
it's
technically, doesn't that compel them to put the prices for the
yes,
goods?
yes, it would.
Okay, and then there's this other thing. I know in North America it applies. I think it applies here in some cases, where you might go up to the point of sale with an item, and the price that's on the shelf is different to what's in the system.
Dual pricing.
What's supposed to apply? It's supposed to be the lower price, right?
Consumers would pay or must pay the lower price.
Okay.
They must be charged the lower price.
Yeah.
That I know a lot of consumers would argue when they go to the point of sale, because there are times that even me, as a consumer, when I go to shop and I recognize, I try to take, for example, some of the supermarkets, as I indicated, would have the barcodes, but you would have the items, different items over the price. So when you go and you see the price underneath on the shelves, you would think, okay, that is for $8.95. But when you go to the cashier, it's not actually the same item, the same size, whatever, for the $8.95. So you might have it more. So I would encourage persons, once you see a barcode is on the shelf on a price tag, to look at the item that is above. Check to the back of the item by the barcode to make sure it is the same numbers that are on the pricing that is on the item. Because there are persons who would have different products over the wrong price, or they forget to change the price, remove the price, and so forth. Some of them, as we had a recession the other day in which a lot of the shelves were empty because we couldn't get stuff from the ship. Shipping was a problem. So they filled up different, they didn't want the markets to look empty, so they, put out more stuff and what's not. So
yeah, they bought all the toilet paper. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But when it comes around dual pricing, you would pay for the lower value of the item.
What about cases where I've seen this happen? This happened to me up to last week. I took an item up and it was not in the system.
That we can't do anything about. It will be on them, because what are you going to pay when you're going out?
True.
You can't pay nothing because the item is not in the system, but we will try to encourage them as usual too,
But wouldn't it be good to have a regulation that says do not put stuff on the shelf that you don't have a price for? Or at least the price isn't in the system?
Well, they'll be responsible for that, not us.
No, but I mean, shouldn't that be a regulation?
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
It should be a regulation, because customers should know the price of goods before they reach the point of sale.
But you two guys are so charming. I'm sure you guys can put that over persuasively, and they'll just do it without it being
actually
put into
addressed
law.
in the bill, because that would also fall under misleading the consumer. Because if there is no price, what do I do?
Exactly. It's
like, I want this product, but there is no price. So that is actually addressed in the new and upcoming bill.
And so on some level, when that happens, it's because it's a product that you've never seen before, and maybe you're intrigued by the product, and you go up and you're like, oh boy, I think I might want to buy this, and then it's not in the system yet. Okay, it's 11:46, folks. Don't forget, we're still looking for your calls for the Consumer Affairs agents. And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and hopefully we'll get some calls. 466-0989, 762, and 662-0989.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Campari grapefruit, easy fi we. Brother he no hard it, easy fi we. Campari in a cup, easy fi we. Brother he no hard it, easy fi we. Add the Campari with the grapefruit soda. That easy, bitter had the pre. Simple mixer, easy 1-3. Campari grapefruit, that easy fi we. Fi mix a Campari grapefruit. Add 1 part Campari to 3 parts grapefruit soda. Drink at the bar, on the beach, or when a girl reach. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Flow! Jingle all the way home to Flow, where the speed is faster and price is better. All the way home to Flow. Merry connections that bring us together, yeah.
Christmas starts the moment you bundle your Flow internet with your Flow mobile. Because when you do, you get a free laptop. Plus, you get 100 megabits per second internet speed, 20 gigabytes of data, 4,000 local minutes, and unlimited WhatsApp and YouTube. That's our Christmas jingling your way to keep family close for Christmas and every day.
All the way home to Flow.
Visit discoverflow.co for more information.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
And we're back with Trista and Tricia from Consumer Affairs Department. Tricia. Okay. Tricia.
Oh my God.
Okay. Tricia, sorry. And we have a call. Let's see if we can get this call because we had some really tricky callers who are actually calling during the commercial break. So let's see what happens this time. Voices, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Oh, yes. I was waiting to call in.
Oh, my.
And I came on like to have this dialogue.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Henry. How are you?
Good morning.
Okay. Consumer away.
Yes. Now, we have, according to the Consumer Affairs, all companies not registered with the Inland Revenue in terms of the payment of the VAT are not allowed to give discount on the VAT. Is that so?
No, you misunderstood what I was saying.
No, just tell me what it is.
No, remember, during VAT day, the days for VAT, you have to apply to Inland Revenue to be eligible to do the VAT discount.
Yes.
The Inland Revenue have a lot of different regularities that you must comply by in order for them to give you approval.
I understand that. So what happened to those who don't apply?
They wouldn't.
Oh, they said they're giving VAT discount.
They would not.
The ones who don't apply will not have the permission.
What they would do, there are some business places who are not listed during the VAT days as businesses who, are eligible for the VAT discount. They would give their own personal discount. Their business discount. They would be able to do that.
Doesn't Inland Revenue actually post a list?
Yeah, we have a listing.
They will actually have a listing of those companies that were approved.
Yeah, because I know in Basti, one time I went into a place that was not, didn't apply.
Yes.
And they said, we're giving 11%, which is equal to the reduction.
But that is on them because remember, if the company is giving a discount at their own discretion, they still would have to, pay Inland Revenue and they would still have to pay it. So the onus is on them if they want to reduce and have a special discount rate on that day.
What about those who say, we pay the VAT for you? We pay the VAT for you. What would appear on your receipt?
If you mean... some of
them said that we pay the VAT for you?
Yes, they would do that, but then that would be basically, it would not be on the VAT day, right?
Yeah, on the VAT day.
On the VAT day?
But remember, instead of letting you pay the 5%, they are saying we will pay the VAT for you. So what would appear on your receipt?
So if it would all, as I indicated, that would have to be something that they would have to deal with Inland Revenue for. I'm not so true.
You're not aware of it? The larger companies saying it.
Well, if the larger companies are doing it, they basically would be responsible towards Inland Revenue.
So you all don't check all of these things. And when they say they give you a discount, is it on the price before the VAT deduction?
No, on that day, if they're giving you, okay, let me put it this way: if company A is not approved to give any VAT discounts on the day, automatically, and they're giving their own discount, they still will be liable to pay Inland Revenue the 17%. Yes. Now, for a company who was approved by Inland Revenue, remember, when they go into their system, the point, yes, it should be the 5%.
So when they say they're paying it for you, where do they?
Well, that would be a, for you now to realize if your receipt has on anything about 5%. If it is saying no VAT is on it, then automatically that is what they're especially saying, right? So they will pay the 5%. Because the 5% is basically the consumption tax.
You mentioned something earlier, which I personally experienced. This thing about carrying the price to bring it back down and make you believe you're getting a discount.
Yeah. We are aware of that. Inland Revenue is aware of that also. That is why we would go out, our officers.
We're supposed to be more concerned.
We are concerned because we are consumers the same way, So
what do you all do about it? You all don't call the company and pull them up.
That is why I said that we would go out at least 2 weeks before and a week before to see what the prices are. Sometimes the same week with that, we would also go out and back check the prices. And
I would encourage people who plan to shop to do the same thing, because it's a common thing in Bastille.
Yes, I know
that.
You're
giving 50%, 51%.
But let me tell you, from my experience, there was a certain establishment who actually was trying to, how should I put it? They raised their prices. Let's take, for example, the item was supposed to be, let's say, $10. And without the VAT, it would have been $8. So they actually removed the price of the $8 for the $10 and carried it up to $12. So automatically, when you take off the VAT, yes, they're not losing anything. So they were actually.
I don't know why we have so many dishonest people, and I am encouraging people to, not even just you. If you plan to buy an item, especially a high-priced one, check the price the week before.
Yes, we encourage persons to do that.
Days before, because I actually had in my hand, right, I think I printed from the company with the price of the gold. From the day before, and when I went the morning to buy it,
it was much more.
Yeah, and tell me, Miss Henry, well, maybe what they had at that price sell out, and these come from the warehouse. I said, boy, don't play with me, But I went to the manager because I said that is dishonesty.
Yes, it is.
They practice it and get away with it. And another thing about these expired goods, I thought they said 7 days before they should be put on sale or something like that.
No, we don't have any laws to regulate that, to demand that they do that. Our law speaks to goods that are expired.
We have some companies here, I call them unscrupulous, because the truth is some of the things that they're selling belong to the landfill. And yet they have the nerve to charge you almost the same thing for the expired goods. You can sell somebody a large quantity item and give them 3 days.
Well,
3 days?
That basically falls under your right to choose, because you don't have to buy an item that is on sale or an item that is about to expire.
Look, you have to talk to these people who will be selling these. You have to have a talk with them, because of any purpose we will seek to stretch what they have. It follows.
That's true.
But if you know that the thing is so close to expiry date, for heaven's sake, it shouldn't cost more than $1 or so. Like going to Connery.
Well,
that is my reasoning,
That is at the discretion of the retailer. That is actually at the discretion of the retailer. We cannot regulate their prices.
No, but you could talk to them.
We actually do that, but we cannot force them to change their prices because the goods are still usable up until the expiry date.
Yeah, and some of them don't even tell you, or they remove the things so you can't see when it expires. They mark it over with a black mark also.
Well, if that happens, there could be, there could be charged. As I was saying before, this basically is what I was telling you before. Remember, I indicated about a company carried up their price in order so when the VAT is off on the day, it will come back down to the normal price. Inland Revenue had actually charged that company. About $10,000. So Inland Revenue fines business places for doing things like that. But first, as I indicated, you would have to bring it to the department, or to Inland Revenue's attention.
But I went to the manager. But let me get to another thing now, this warranty issue. I believe all electronic products or articles, especially those of a certain price, should come with a warranty. They should.
Actually, they do. From our laws, it indicates this. Yes, they
what?
do. They do.
They do? But let me tell you a story. Just sometime last month, I wanted to buy a laptop because my old one was giving some problems. So I sent my son to check the price and buy one. So he went to a certain establishment at Port Zante. So, of course, I asked the question. He told me the price, which was almost the same thing as in the other store. So I tell him, ask the man, this is over $1,000, You understand? Almost $1,500. Ask him about how much warranty. And I am listening on the phone. Oh, we don't give warranty anything, do it to come back. I said, just please come out of India.
You did the right
Come out of India. A warranty should be given because sometimes they even sell refurbished goods, You know that?
Yes,
and they don't declare that.
Miss Henry, I'm glad you brought that up. That was a question I was going to ask him about next. There is a store in town that sells phones, and they don't know that I know the code for refurbished stuff. And I pressed the guy. He said no. I pressed him, and he actually admitted it. That is
misleading.
Unacceptable.
Yes.
Yeah,
how could they be selling phones
I'm going to spend nearly $1,500 on a laptop, and you're going to tell me, if anything, do it, bring it back?
This
is gone blatantly.
A situation like this, you need to actually call or come and make a complaint. We are encouraging people to file complaints when they are made aware of situations like these where businesses are being deceptive. You make a complaint because we are not out there shopping around, seeing all this stuff.
You are supposed to be out there because don't even got so many stores. You know what I mean? People selling these, as he said, phones. They're going to say a phone unlock. Unlock many use,
Okay, Miss Henry, it's coming up to news time, so we're going to go to news. Okay, great. You can always call back. Thanks for the weigh-in. It's just about 12 o'clock, but I wanted to say quickly when we come back, I want to talk about the refurbished phone thing, and also, it seems to me that on VAT day you shouldn't be telling people we're paying the VAT for you. That doesn't make any sense. So we'll discuss that when we come back, right? Okay, it's midday. It's news time.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Tis the season to save with Delayed Wallet and Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Purchasing a new car this Christmas? Save up to 65% off. Yes, that's 65% off your motor insurance premiums. Switch and save.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We're encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the following locations. In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and the Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. In St. Kitts, every second and fourth Tuesday at the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Deep Bay. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottles, flatware, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. So think smart. Take PAT, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With the WIN Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Yolana Weeks.
Making the headlines.
4 students from St. Kitts and Nevis listed amongst the top 10 candidates for 2022 Cape Law Unit 2 examinations. NITRB not competing in the 2022 National Carnival Soca Manac competition for personal reasons.
Dominica Labour Party wins election 19-2, and PM Skerritt says he accepts the wish of the people. Internationally, in raids across the country, German police have arrested 25 suspected members and supporters of a far-right group who were allegedly seeking to overthrow the state by force, according to the federal prosecutor's office. In the U.S., Democrats have cemented their control of the U.S. Senate by winning a bitterly fought seat in Georgia. Now, the details.
The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis continues to make its mark in between and amongst larger countries in the region, producing successful academic results. Law lecturer at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, Mr. Azad Gums, beamed with pride at his students' success in the highly competitive and important Caribbean examinations. Gums, in dialogue with a Win FM reporter on Tuesday night, December 7, disclosed that 3 of his students returned top 10 positions for Law Unit 2 in the 2022 sitting of the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE. Haley Morris placed 4th, whilst Keandra Pole and Carol Woods tied for 8th position. According to the law lecturer, this is not the first time that any of his students have made it to a top 10 position in CAPE Law, but this is the first time multiple students have made it. He recalled the year 2018 when a former student, Joanna Keynes, placed 2nd in the region for CAPE Law Unit 2, and in 2021, Dariella Warner placed 2nd for CAPE Law Unit 1. Gums is optimistic that the trend will continue for years to come as he continues to find new and attractive methods to foster students' learning.
It's a proud moment, and I'm hoping that the success continues. I'm hoping that we continue to make St. Kitts and Nevis proud, and to ensure that no matter what, across the region, regardless of our size, we can prove that we're just as good as the other countries. I think when one looks at the probability of actually making it in the top 10 in the region, the chances are slim because you're competing against thousands of students from hundreds of schools. And to know that the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College had 3 spots in the top 10 in the region, that is commendable. And to know that these students are my students, I am overwhelmed, I'm filled with joy, and I'm looking forward to this year to ensure that the students do equally as well in the examination in the June 2023 examination.
Despite not having an easy journey through studies, the students persevered and therefore used the opportunity to express gratitude to all who partnered in their success. Haley Morris, daughter of Chief Education Officer Mr. Francil Morris, said the result caught her by surprise.
I'm very happy that I was able to place 4th in the region for CAPE Law Unit 2. It honestly came as a surprise, and I would like to thank Mr. Gums and all my fellow law peers. Also, I would like to thank my parents for their unwavering support, and finally, give thanks to God for this great achievement.
In giving feedback, Carol Woods said Mr. Gums believed in her success even before she was enrolled in his class.
I would just like to say thank you to everyone who helped and supported me, to God, to Pastor Connor and the members of the Antioch Baptist Church, to my parents, Dwight and Sherry Woods, to Mateo, to the Washington Archibald High School, the CFBC and the Ross University staff, and of course to my family members and friends, thank you. Thank you especially to Mr. Gums for believing in my success even before I registered for his class. I enjoyed studying for the exam, and I'm reminding everyone that you can truly do anything through Christ, who strengthens you.
Keandra Pole, who also placed 8th regionally, said it was a blessing and an honor to place in the top 10 regionally.
Being able to place on the regional list for Law Unit 2 is indeed a blessing and an honor. I am extremely grateful for this achievement, and I just like to give thanks to God for giving me the strength to persevere in the course, and thanks to Mr. Gums for working with us for the past 2 years.
Meanwhile, from the sister isle Nevis, one student, Shubha Subramani from the Nevis Sixth Form College, was also listed amongst the top 10 students in the region for CAPE Law Unit 2, placing 6th in the region. Subramani was lectured by Mr. Dejano Liburd, a recent graduate of the Norman Manley Law School. Of all the countries in the region that host law exams from the Caribbean Examination Council, St. Kitts and Nevis was fortunate this year to have the most candidates listed in the top 10 of CAPE Law Unit 2. The results show that Anguilla and Barbados each received 1 candidate in the top 10, while Jamaica and Guyana each received 2. Popular soca artist Nicha B said he would not contest the 2022 St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Soca Monarch, despite the release of new songs. The artist said he would not be participating in the Soca Monarch because he made a personal decision to take a physical and mental break from the competitive atmosphere and give someone else a chance to make their mark in the soca arena. In an interview with Jade and Azem on Win FM's Island Tea show on Tuesday, December 6, 2022, Nichoby released a track, Fetting All Alone, which he said signifies the energy and spirit of the revelers who party by themselves and can still be the life of the party. Nichoby has also released another track called Bing Bang. He said the song is upbeat and is made solely for the ladies with an on-the-road party-style energy. The artist hinted that he has other tracks prepared for release, but decided only to release 2 for Sugar Mass 51. Nichoby considers himself an international artist, thus assuring that he continuously tries to improve the delivery of his music.
I just try to sound a little international with my music, as I really feel like in my mind as an international artist, you know. So I just try to get my music to a certain level and quality to represent our country on a serious level of soca music, you know. So it ain't about me really, I do it for we. So it's a we thing still. So I just take my time and my craft.
Nichoby mentioned that his contribution to the season would be in the form of gigs. He also said he is open for bookings, which has already had an upward look for the season. The soca artist asks that all interested event planners could contact him for high-quality live performances, whilst there are some remaining time slots.
In regional news, Dominica Labour Party wins election 19-2 and PM Skerritt says he accepts the wish of the people. That report and more from Carib Update.
The Dominica Labour Party of Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt has been returned to power, taking 19 of the 21 seats following Tuesday's early general elections. The DLP gained a seat in the Rosezone North constituency, where Marian Blanchard has become the new MP. In spite of the official opposition boycott, independent candidates won in 2 of the traditionally strongest opposition enclaves in Maho and Salisbury. Independent Jesma Paul got almost 58% of the votes cast in winning Salisbury, while Anthony Charles received almost 60% of the votes in winning Marigot, the seat that was held in the last parliament by opposition leader Lennox Linton. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt says he accepts the results of the polls and hopes the election will facilitate a national reset.
But I'm looking forward for a new era in our country's politics. Let us discuss ideas, let us discuss policies and programs, and all of his personalities and character assassination and the consistent efforts to undermine and to destroy and to denigrate our country must stop. Must stop. And so I look forward to speaking with members of the opposition. As you know, I have spoken to some independent candidates. I will meet with them very soon after the elections, so that I can bring them as part of the whole construction efforts and the whole resetting effort.
The Dominica leader said he also hopes to expand the dialogue with the new leader of the United Workers' Party.
I will reach out personally to the leader of the United Workers' Party so that we can have a conversation on Dominica and raise with him certain concerns I have with the way his party conducts their business, and so I'm sure he will have certain concerns to raise with me where the Labour Party is concerned. But I would like for us to be able to fight the politics, but at the same time recognize that we have a greater responsibility to our country.
For the first time in more than a quarter century, the UWP will be without a seat in the parliament, with political commentator Peter Wickham suggesting that the plan to boycott the elections might have backfired.
The question as to the opposition strategy of doing this, as Callisto was saying, clearly it's not a strategy that has worked, and it's not likely to be a good strategy going forward. I think that the Grenada example, the decommission strategy, where you look for someone fresh and new, and you insert that person into the politics, and then you are able to effectively peddle a change narrative, to me would be the solution that I think would have worked better in the case of Dominica. And I think what happened this year is that we had 2 elections, one in which Grenada has given us a clear direction in terms of what should happen, and Dominica has given us a clear direction in terms of what is not going to work.
Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Farley Augustine, says there will be no early general elections there. This despite calls from Progressive Democratic Patriots Watson Duke and the People's National Movement Tobago Council leader Ansel Dennis to go back to the polls in January. On Monday, there was a collective resignation of the 16 members of the local government from the PDP. Augustine is standing firm, even amid questions being raised over the legality of 16 PDP members announcing their resignation from the party but continuing as independents in the THA. He has given strong hints that the group will form a new political party in the new year.
We now bring you these international reports.
Germany says it has foiled a far-right plot to overthrow the government. 25 people, including a soldier and a judge, were detained after police raided 130 sites across Germany. One Russian national is also among the detainees. The so-called Reich citizens were allegedly preparing to force their way into the parliament. Well, for more on this, I'm now joined by Dominic Kane, who is in Berlin. And this seems like a massive police operation. What more can you tell us?
This is a very large police operation involving thousands of officers. The 25 people arrested we know about. The suggestion also that there are 50 people of interest to the authorities insofar as this operation is concerned. The interesting thing, this movement, the Reichsbürger, as they call themselves, well, they are people who believe that the modern manifestation of Germany is not one that they consider legitimate. They would like to see a return to the Germany that existed prior to the end of World War I. Insofar as what we know, well, we know that these people were, in some cases, heavily armed, that they were former soldiers, some of them from the army of modern Germany post the end of the Cold War, some from the former East Germany. There is some speculation that a former member of the Bundestag, that's the parliament, the building behind me, may have been involved in this, although it hasn't been confirmed by independent sources. We know also that there's going to be a news conference given by the federal prosecutors in Karlsruhe in Western Germany in the course of the next few hours, they say around 13 GMT, where we can hope to find out more information about those who have been arrested, those who are of interest to the authorities. At its heart, it is suggested that these people have believed that there is some kind of deep state operating in Germany, which is antithetical to Germany's interests, and that this Russian national, with others who are amongst those arrested, may have tried to approach the Russian Federation for some assistance. It is not known what sort of contact they had, what happened from those contacts, if indeed they happened. Lots of questions about what the authorities have announced. What we know for a fact, 25 people arrested, around 50 people are of interest to the authorities, thousands of people of police involved in this, 11 different federal states have seen raids taking place, and this is clearly an ongoing operation.
In the US, the Democratic Party has won a runoff in the state of Georgia, securing them a 51-seat majority in the Senate. The victory by the incumbent Raphael Warnock, which has now been called by 3 American networks, will make governing easier for President Biden. It is also a further blow to Donald Trump's ambition to return to the White House after he strongly endorsed the Republican candidate. Raphael Warnock gave a victory speech at his campaign's election night party in Atlanta.
Hard-fought campaign. Or should I say campaigns? It is my honor to utter the 4 most powerful words ever spoken in a democracy. The people have spoken.
Well, our correspondent Gary O'Donoghue has the latest from Warnock's election night party in Atlanta.
The people have spoken. That was Raphael Warnock's key phrase that drew the biggest cheer here as he gave his victory speech. He's faced the voters 4 times in the last 2 years, and now he becomes the first black man to earn a full 6-year term in the Senate from the state of Georgia. He will shore up Joe Biden's majority in the Senate, giving him 51 senators to the Republicans' 49. That's a key factor for Joe Biden over the next 2 years as he attempts to govern, having lost control of the House of Representatives. For Republicans here in Georgia and across the nation, there will have to be some soul searching. They picked a local hero, a football star, but a poor candidate, and someone who should have given this a much better run. Donald Trump, who endorsed Herschel Walker, again damaged by the outcome in this particular race. As we look forward to the next couple of years, Georgia itself could become one of those states that is a real indicator of which way America votes and which way America is going.
Well, let's go to Atlanta now and talk to Stephen Fowler, politics reporter for Georgia Public Broadcasting. Good to talk to you. So, Stephen, what a night. Extremely close yet again, but Raphael Warnock has got it.
Absolutely. I am actually outside of the election night watch party because the party is still going. Democrats are absolutely ecstatic to have Warnock in the Senate for a full 6 years. And like you mentioned, it is a close race. Georgia is probably one of the closest battleground states in America right now because of its demographic diversity and economic climate. And tonight's election results just further cements that status.
So for Herschel Walker, I mean, he was a controversial candidate, but he looked like he was extremely popular and endorsed by Trump. So what does it mean now for the Republicans that he did not get this seat, and also Trump's involvement in this process?
Well, I think the entire story of the 2022 midterms in the U.S. is the future of the Republican Party and what role, if any, Donald Trump should play in that. Because it's not just Herschel Walker. It's candidates like Blake Masters in Arizona and Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania that were endorsed by Trump but rejected by voters. And it's clear that Donald Trump is not the electoral juggernaut that he was in 2016 or even in 2020. And so voters have sent a clear message in Georgia and in other parts of the country that maybe Donald Trump's brand of Republican conservatism is not necessarily what Republicans and voters want to see moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Donald Trump has said he will run for the next election as a presidential candidate. But the point is, will the Republicans choose him?
Well, it's certainly a conversation that even before he declared he was going to run again is something that Republicans in Georgia and beyond are having, because the bar is very, very low right now for a Republican to come in and say, look, these are the policy platforms I want to do, but I actually have a winning way of doing it and not rubbing people the wrong way and not having voters reject the outcomes of what I'm doing. And so there is an opening for somebody other than Donald Trump to come in. But the question is, will primary voters and will 2024 be an entirely different situation?
Just very briefly, are you breathing a sigh of relief now that you haven't got a report on a local election for a while?
It has felt like election day for the past 4 years, but for now, Georgia gets a sigh of relief.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen Fowler, thank you. Good to talk to you.
China has just announced a major nationwide easing of its zero COVID policy, a week after protests against the controls spread across the country. People with mild COVID will no longer be forced into centralized quarantine facilities. They can recover at home instead. PCR tests will no longer be required to enter public buildings apart from schools and hospitals. China's leader Xi Jinping hasn't spoken publicly about the changes, but the goal of returning to zero infections after each outbreak appears to have been dropped. Our correspondent in Beijing, Stephen McDonnell, has more.
The speed with which the zero COVID systems which had been in place are now being dismantled has taken everybody by surprise here. Now, there still are some restrictions, and there may even still be lockdowns, but major planks have been removed. Now, these latest announcements include that you no longer have to go to a centralised quarantine facility if you catch COVID. You can stay at home. Also, no more PCR tests for entering buildings except for, say, schools and hospitals. And travel inside China is being eased up. So you previously needed these special permissions to go from province to province. That's also all going to go. Just last week, all this stuff was in place, and it seemed like the government was going to try and ride this out despite the protests. But I think those vocal demonstrations in many cities across the country were just too much for the government to bear. They realised just how unhappy the population here had been in terms of just enduring more and more of these COVID restrictions.
Stephen McDonald, well, let's talk to Steve Tsang, who's director of the China Institute at SOAS here in London. Steve Tsang, what do you make, first of all, of the timing of this?
Well, the timing of it will suggest quite clearly that this is part of the coordinated responses to the protests that happened a bit over a week ago. The Chinese government will deny that, and they will say that this is because the situation's changed, that COVID changed. But reality is that when the protests happened first in Shanghai, calling for Xi Jinping and the Communist Party to step down, it raised an alarm bell in Beijing. So they responded first by repressing the protests, then intimidating people using digital technology, and now finally removing some of the most egregious restrictions that caused people to be so angry to begin with.
How surprising is it that the Chinese authorities acted, it appears to be, as a result of these protests?
I don't think it is surprising that Xi Jinping would act this way. He made it very clear when he became leader in 2012 that he would not stand for any kind of protests against him or the Communist Party. So his quick response was to be expected. And as usual with Xi Jinping being a populist, once he has repressed it, or in his words, restored order, then he will be trying to remove some of the causes that led to the protests against him to begin with.
I wonder what your thoughts are on why it took so long. The restrictions have been in place in a very punishing and brutal way for nearly 3 years. There has been so much discontent about them. Why did the authorities why did they wait till now, given the economic damage it also was doing?
Well, the zero COVID policy was a signature policy of Xi Jinping, and he saw it as a policy that demonstrated the superiority of the Chinese political system under his leadership compared to Western democracies. And therefore, nobody could really advise him to drop that policy. And of course, with the concentration of power in his hands, he was really no longer listening to what people were thinking in China and how much the zero COVID policy was causing substantial frustrations and anger. And of course, there was the reality that a lot of people in China thought that zero COVID would go after the 20th Party Congress last month. But of course, the zero COVID policy did not go, and it got worse. People got more angry, so he had to act.
And briefly, given that you say the zero COVID policy was a signature policy of Xi Jinping, how do you drop that policy without it looking like a climb down, like an admission of failure?
Well, officially, China has not ended the zero COVID policy. They just stopped mentioning it. And so far, the criticism of the Chinese government is being reoriented as criticism of the implementation of the policy and not of the policy itself. And now they are also changing the narrative of the policy by saying that Omicron is less serious illness than even the common flu. And therefore, the situation's changed, the policy implementation is being improved. Rather than admitting that they make a mistake.
Interesting stuff. Professor Steve Tsang from the China Institute at SOAS. Thank you very much for that major change we're talking about in China.
You were listening to the Win FM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were:
4 students from St. Kitts and Nevis listed amongst the top 10 candidates for 2022 Cape Law Unit 2 examinations. Nichabi not competing in the 2022 National Carnival Soca Manac competition for personal reasons.
Dominica Labour Party wins election 19-2, and PM Skerritt says he accepts the wish of the people. Internationally, in raids across the country, German police have arrested 25 suspected members and supporters of a far-right group who were allegedly seeking to overthrow the state by force, according to the federal prosecutor's office. In the U.S., Democrats have cemented their control of the U.S. Senate by winning a bitterly fought seat in Georgia. Thank you for listening.
That was the WinFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The St. Kitts and Nevis Solid Waste Management, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We are encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Tuesday each month at the following locations in St. Kitts: the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Deep Bay. In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, Ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottle, flatware set, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
You have the keys to your new car this Christmas? Now it's time to get it insured. Visit Didi Baldwin, agents for Caribbean Alliance Insurance, to save up to 65% off your motor insurance premium. All new clients are eligible for major discounts. Plus, There's lots of sweet prizes to be won. Switch and save and get in on the action. Visit us today in St. Kitts or Nevis, or give us a call at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Promotion ends December 31st and all quotes are valid until January 31st. Drive secure this Christmas with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Terms and conditions apply.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
It's 12:36. Welcome back to the second half of Voices. It's brought to you by Hosfords. And still with us, we've got two agents from the Consumer Affairs Department, and we're going to be discussing and taking your calls, facilitating your calls. So please bring us your calls, and the two ladies from the Consumer Affairs Department, Tricia and Trista, they'll take your calls, listen to your complaints, hear your comments. Let's get a word from our sponsor, Hosfords, and we'll come right back on Voices.
No time like now. Our lowest interest rates ever. VAT Days Auto Sales Event. There is no time like now to buy or reserve a brand new vehicle at Hosfords. Buy now or reserve for VAT Days and get our lowest interest rates ever. Yes, buy now or reserve for VAT Days in December and get our lowest interest rates ever. What? Yes! There is no time like now to come to Hosfords Automotive Sales Event and get a brand new vehicle now at our lowest interest rates ever. Yes, get your brand new vehicle from Hosfords Automotive now and get our lowest interest rates ever. No time like now. Buy now or reserve for VAT dates now and not only get the lowest interest rates ever, but also get no VAT. Pay nothing for VAT on all model, no down payment, free bill of sale, free servicing for 12 months, up to $1,000 in free groceries or free gas for up to 3 months. Your choice. Free registration and licensing, free tinting and accessories, and much more. It's the no time like now lowest interest rates ever auto sales event at Hosfords Automotive during the entire month of November and December. No time like now to get a brand new vehicle at Hosfords Automotive at the lowest interest rates ever and much more. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
And we're back on Voices with Trista and Tricia from the Consumer Affairs Department. The numbers are 466-0989, 662-0989, and 762-0989. We want to hear your weigh-ins on your consumer affairs concerns. Hi, girls. How was lunch?
We're still waiting for
that. That was a deliberately cruel question. I know you didn't have lunch. Okay, so we have, just to quickly recap, we have 2 VAT days coming up. This is December 16 and 17. What days are those? Those are
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and
Next week,
Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Next week, Friday and Saturday. Okay, so remind me of that question I wanted to ask you guys about. There was something I wanted to ask you guys about. I can't remember.
It was about VAT and companies saying to you, paying the VAT for you.
That seems, isn't that kind of inappropriate, to say the least?
No.
For a company, no, because if it's a VAT reduced day.
Remember,
so they
VAT
can,
reduced is, remember the VAT is 17%.
Mm-hmm.
The VAT reduced day is 12%, so they still would have the 5% to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when they say they're paying the VAT, they're basically just taking out
the full 17% away. So
Okay.
they would still be liable for the 5% to the government.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to share with our listeners? Is there anything that maybe you overlooked in the first half until we start getting some calls? Once again, folks, we are taking your calls. They are taking your calls. 466-0989, 762-0989, and 762-0989.
Tracy, I will just clarify something.
Okay, sure.
Well, I would like to reiterate on the point that I made earlier where we say that the Consumer Affairs Department monitors the prices of items sold within the government price monitoring program. Why I am really reiterating this is because there are many common misconceptions of people thinking that when the price of any item increases in the supermarkets or in any store, that Consumer Affairs directly has a part to play in it. So I'm just saying that is not how it works. The government price control program is basically a fixed set of consumer products and services valued on an annual basis. So it's not every item in the supermarket we monitor the prices of or put our foot down on. Now, if there are disruptive or deceptive business practices happening, then we step in. But it's the government price controlled items that we monitor on an everyday annual basis. Also, with the new bill, we just want to clarify that it really will be going in as its first reading next year because it's on a new administration. So even though the bill was read before in 2021, yes, it will be its first reading under this new administration.
Okay. Now, let me ask a question. In a case where you prove, I know you said you can't really compel people you can't really compel merchants to sell goods and services for particular prices. But let's say you have a situation where someone it's proven that maybe a company is selling something for at say a 500% markup, something that's already like a fairly big ticket item, and you find out that it's like a 500% markup or even a 300% markup. You still have nothing you can do to help customers in that respect. No. Now for the okay, so for the timid callers, as in the timid non-callers, I should say. The numbers once again are 466-0989, 662-0989, and 762-0989. I would like you to outline the complaint process, because I'm assuming maybe that's why some people are not calling. They probably have things on their chest, but yes. Maybe if you outline the complaint process, so that they can know what they can do, what recourse they have, as far as the Consumer Affairs Department.
Sorry. Consumer complaints can be defined as the gaps between businesses, what the businesses promise in terms of the product or service, and what the consumer gets. There are different types of complaints. It could be related to improper communication, internal processes, poor quality of service, manufacturing default. Realizing that a complaint is an opportunity to make it easier to turn conflict into positive change. Some consumers would complain, consumer complaint can tell you how to resolve the issues, especially for businesses listen to them carefully. Bearing in mind, not all complaints made by the consumer would be in their favor. At the Consumer Affairs Department, we would encourage consumers to contact the supplier first and speak to them, or the business place to speak to them first about the matter or the complaint before coming to our department, because sometimes it normally could be resolved right there and then. Some complaints can be easily dealt with over the phone, or, we would try to tell consumers, you first have to be respectful. I know it is hard for you to not get what your money is worth, but, you still would have to be respectful. the businesses themselves would be actually consumers the same way, because a lot of them don't make the items that they actually sell. If a consumer is still not satisfied after reaching out to the merchants, they can contact us and file a complaint. However, our department made it very easy for consumers to lodge their complaints, because we have the form actually online. We have it on our Facebook page. It's Consumer Affairs Department. If they go on our Facebook page, it's actually pinned to the top, so you can actually click there, so you don't have to come to our department to file a complaint. And of course, you must fill out the form that says these are the most important parts: what was purchased, when it was purchased, what problem you encountered, what type of report you made on the matter, what transpired when you reported it, and what redress you would like. And most importantly, we need a copy of your receipts. We have some business places that do not like to give receipts. We ask the consumers, ask for a receipt. They have to provide a receipt, and because that it would be the proof and the evidence for us to know the transaction actually took place between the business place and the consumer. If supermarkets are not giving you a receipt, ask for it. They have to provide a receipt for the VAT purposes. So there are some persons who would actually avoid swiping by the point of sale machines and would just punch in the figure. That itself is illegal for VAT purposes, for inland revenue. You have to, once you have the point of sale system, you scan them, because actually when they scan, it will be recorded as a part of sale, so VAT would be, they would be able to get their stuff, their calculations done to know exactly what VAT is supposed to be paid, what amount you're supposed to pay, as it relates to the amount of purchases, the amount of sales that you did.
Okay. I have a semi-stupid question. I had an incident. No, not an incident really. Just I went to buy something at one of the supermarkets. I picked up shampoo by mistake. I went to buy body wash. It was one of those men's products. And when I took it back to change, the guy checked the system, and I realized he said he didn't see it. He said he did change it, but he said he didn't see it in the system. And what I realized is I must have forgotten to give the cashier my rewards, my information for rewards. So, is it unreasonable? Is it unreasonable for Consumer Affairs to maybe encourage the merchants to always ask the customers for their, because see, in that case, I couldn't find the receipt. And so I was thinking, I was thinking, it's probably on the system somewhere, but he couldn't find it based on the information I gave him. So I must have forgotten to give the girl the thing. So is that something, or is that something you don't think is necessary?
In terms of it for them to do the incentives?
Yeah, in terms of you insisting that they always... No,
we can't do
okay,
that.
I just want.
Remember, it's an incentive that they actually. It's basically an appreciation thing that they're actually doing for their consumers.
Hey, remember I said semi-stupid question. Okay. To the phone lines. Voices, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
I have a question. I kind of tune in late, so I don't know where you are in the program, but I think it's a great program to educate the public. Question, are the Chinese supermarkets governed by these rules?
Everybody. We don't
because
pick
one
and
time
choose.
I went there and the price that the guy had posted was different to what he cashed when I got to the cashier. And I said, you're not allowed to do that. And he said, well, it's a mistake. And I was like, no, you need to give me that price of the lower item that was posted. And he refused. I mean, I left it and walked out because,
so he lost the sale.
Situation in another supermarket, and they honored the lower price, and of course they went and changed it. But I was wondering if they don't follow the same protocols as the others, and also the VAT reduced days, they don't honor that either.
But as we indicated before, the VAT reduction days, they would have to apply for it. It's not mandatory that all business places would be exempt from the 12%. But in relation to do with the Chinese or any other supermarket, they have to comply basically with what our rules say. We don't pick and choose who to force the laws on.
I was just pointing that particular, well, I didn't say which one, but
yeah, I know, I understand.
particular one,
yeah,
because it happened to me, and I did ask the guy, like, why are you not honoring, the stated price? And
what
said,
we
well,
can
it
do
was a
is
mistake, and that was that.
to actually speak to the supermarkets again, to let them know what our rules and regulations are, and take it from there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Well, actually, Trista, you really don't want me to go there because, trust me, with those Chinese, because they seem to think the rules don't apply to them. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna assume you guys are doing what you're supposed to do.
We are, but we also need consumers to know their rights and responsibilities, because in a situation like that, that is where you will actually file a complaint and alert us to what this specific store or supermarket is doing, and then we can address that problem.
What she could have also done to strengthen her point is that, the price on the item or on the shelf, once it's there, or on the product, take a picture of it. If the price is different, you have dual pricing, take a picture of it.
Okay.
Because I remember at one point in time there was somebody who actually was in the store and was telling me, well, they did not want to give the person a receipt. So because they had on a wrong price. So I indicated to them, take a picture of it and send it to me, which they did. So because what happened is that from the time you leave the store, they would automatically go and change the prices that are on the items or on the shelves. And then they might end up and say they don't know, the price wasn't such and such. But you have your evidence. Take a picture. Everybody has cell phones.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't really want to go down this Asian road because it can get ugly where I'm concerned. So let's not go there.
Don't go there.
No. 12:53. Its voice says the numbers are 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. Are there any other consumer affairs remits that don't exactly align with the obvious things people think of, like retail and so on?
The most thing is that person think we can control the price, and we can't.
Okay.
We can't.
What about like the phone companies and so?
NTRC.
Any NTRC? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
NTRC.
Okay.
Anything to do with cell phones, internet, so forth, NTRC.
Like with problems with the service and so on? Okay.
Yeah. But we can take the complaints.
Okay.
But we'll just forward
you forward it to
to the NTRC.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So with the upcoming sales, like we mentioned before, it is illegal for store owners to display any no refund signs. That is actually illegal. Because even if an item is on sale, if it is defective or is of poor quality to the point where it is not working or it is not consumable or whatever the issue may be, it should be able to be returned. You should be able to return it and get redress from that. So not because it's a sale item means that you cannot return it. It is actually illegal for stores to display a no refund sign in their store, especially during sale time.
Can you say that again for the folks in the back?
So for the store owners, it is actually illegal if you display a no refund sign in your store. The reason being is even if this product or this merchandise is on sale, if it is proven to be defective or of poor quality or deceptive, a consumer still has the right to redress. So sale items are not final items at all times.
I couldn't resist. What do you do when you get a complaint about, say, the Chinese and their recalcitrance and their tendency to not want to follow all laws? What do you guys do?
Be specific.
I just wonder.
Yeah,
or give us options.
No, I mean, I would just take for example like what the lady said about that thing with the price. I'm sure that must have happened more than once.
Yes, but like I said, in situations such as that one, you could lodge a complaint because we won't know that this is actually happening if no one complains that store. So let's say that lady had filed a complaint, we would have actually looked into that situation and we would have issued a warning to that store.
Okay.
And they would have to comply. Usually they do comply. But if no one is complaining, what's to stop them from being dishonest with their business practices?
So do you guys monitor them on the VAT days to see that they're,
Well, you have to remember that food items are actually, VAT actually came off for food items.
No, I'm talking...
So most of the supermarkets and so forth.
No, I meant like the places that sell non-edibles, like, like say cosmetics and,
yes, we do.
and
yes,
stuff
we
like
do.
that. Okay. All right. That's reassuring.
Okay, let me just strengthen the part about when a consumer rejects goods. Where the consumer, this actually is quoted out of the Act actually. Where the consumer exercises the right to reject goods, he or she may choose to have either a refund of any money paid or other consideration provided by him or her in respect to the rejected goods, or B, goods of the same type or similar value to replace the rejected goods, where such goods are reasonably available to the supplier as part of the stock of the supplier, and the supplier shall make provisions accordingly. The top portion is simply telling you that if the consumer says he or she needs back their money, and of course it's a refund, basically something that we would honor in terms of whether that they have sufficient evidence that defective goods or something of that sort, they can get back their money. Or in the second option is telling you can get a similar item or something of the same value instead of the money back. So the choice is basically up to the consumers. You can't force a consumer to say you're not giving them back any money. You would have to take this in return. The consumer has a choice, what he or she wants. Okay. A refund referred to in Section 1 definitely, as I said, means the cash of money paid or the value. So basically, a consumer is not obliged to have a refund, say, telling you that there's no money transaction taking place. Okay. Like some of them would say that, oh, the money done gone to the bank, so ain't nothing that we can do. We can just give you, because they can't take it out of today's sale. No. They can ask you as the consumer. You can probably come back the next day, they provide a check or something, but they cannot tell you they're not going to honor if you so wish to have back your money.
Okay, sounds good. I have another question. I'm trying to think of questions that maybe they're not calling as much as we would like. So I'm trying to think of questions that maybe of some of the things that I think people might be thinking about from a consumer perspective. I guess this is more of a Bureau of Standards question, but do you guys do regular assays of things like scales, maybe checking the gas stations, the pumps to make sure. So do they do those things regularly?
And you would have to. You would see a sticker on each pumps and the scales to tell you when it was checked, and they would tell you, the pass it and so forth. Yes.
I have to say, my wife told me that there's a particular gas station she goes to. I'm not going to say which gas station. That she says whenever she goes to that gas station, the gas finishes a lot more quickly than it does than the others. That was one of the reasons I asked that, because I remember thinking idly some years ago, I said, I wonder if they do regular assays.
Yeah, they collaborate them.
They do?
Okay.
Yeah,
they do.
All right. Let's take a call. You finally have a call. Of course, they always turn things on the head. They call during the commercial breaks, and they call when I'm about to let you guys go. Voices, we're on the air. Nice that you could call.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Quick question regarding the no refund. Is there a time period where this transaction can be valid, if you understand what I mean? Because I am thinking you buy an item on sale and there has to be a time limit from when the person can actually bring back that item. So I'll listen after you if you understand the question.
Okay, that is one of the tips that we offered when you're doing your holiday shopping. It is in the consumer's best interest to pay attention and ask about a store's return policy and the time allotted for returns, because that will be set by that store. So it's not a set time like we have Consumer Affairs has a set time for returns. It's at the discretion of the store, but they should be able to tell you or show you in writing their return policy and the time frame for which you have for a return.
But also, to strengthen that point, what Tricia said is true and factual. But we have to also remember there are items that if a store says their policy is just, the return policies in 7 days, when you come on electronics and so forth, of course, you know for a fact, something can just happen. You can buy it today. You would not know if it is defective in 7 days. So.
And sometimes you don't even set it up right away.
Yes. You know? So we are there, the act presently that is before, well, should be for next year, it would automatically has an implied warranty period, especially when it comes around electronics, and there should be a 6-month warranty. The implied warranty, if they're not full warranty, is there. Even if you say anything less than 6 months, it's not honored.
Okay. It's 2 minutes after 1 o'clock. I think I'm gonna probably let you guys go. You guys were really gracious in spending a whole extra hour with us. So I want to say thank you to our sponsors of this half of Voices, Hosfords. But we have a call coming in, so let's take it. Okay. Voices, we're on the air.
Yes, good morning. Good afternoon. I tuned in late. I just happened to hear the latter part of the program.
Yes, go ahead.
I hear the question that I would like to ask. Maybe it's in line with the consumer protection it is?
Yes, Consumer Affairs Department.
Yeah. Listen, I've experienced and still exists a couple of supermarkets around here that don't have the expiry dates on certain perishable items that they have in the store. For an example, within the fish area, salmon area, I've spoke to managers on this before, that they just have the weight and the price, and they don't have any packing or expiry date on these perishable items. So you don't know how long this fish has been packaged. You can just look at it, and sometimes you can see if you know. If you don't, they'll just pick up anything. And it's been going on for years. I complained about it before. But, the program is not being aired very often. But this is something that I think that they really need to look into, in the sense of looking at these perishable, these expiry dates.
Can you do me a favor? Because I know when it comes around the printing of their prices and so forth, their labels, it should have it. Can you give Jamster the information, if you so wish, this market, we are seeing this, that we can actually look into it off air?
Yes, I can do that. No, I have no problem in doing that at all.
Okay. Because they're actually supposed to have the package dates to say when the items were packed by.
That's correct. And there's another thing that I get. This is inside information, where they repackage again perishable items and change the date.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or they sell them in the sense of seasoned chicken, those kind of what do you call that? Seasoned chicken there, and it was expired. People inside who works there, past and even present. I don't want to call the names because it's right.
That's okay.
Yeah, these things have been going on. We need to carry out regular inspections in these areas.
We do, but as I said before, we can't be everywhere because, let me tell you, when we go to a certain supermarket, you would have persons up there saying, but I don't go to this other supermarket, I always up here. When we go to the other supermarket, they're telling us the same thing. When we try to do as James just asked about the cosmetics and so forth, we tend to do every business place.
Yeah, but that's like almost saying the policeman who hang out on FC Williams Highway. And the guy said, well, you don't go over in the main road in Challengers. Or you don't go over there in Nevis. Or you don't. No, you guys have a schedule and you go at random.
Yes, we go different places on different days.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to right to tell you where you do this and where you do that. They're out of order, frankly speaking.
So if you could give Jamso the name of the establishment, and we'll look into it.
Yes, I will.
Okay, sir.
And wait for Jamso.
Okay, sir. Just stay on the line. We're going to go to a commercial break and hear from our sponsors, Hosfords. And when I come back and let you guys prepare, my next question is, I want to know if your remit extends to the customer service in the store. I'll tell you why after the break.
Okay.
Found the sound 98.9
Fresh Look Paint and Tiles sale. Give your home a fresh look with a fresh coat of paint and a fresh set of tiles. From Horswood's Building and Evil Center's 25% off Fresh Look Paint and Tiles sales event. Yes, come to Horswood's Building and Evil Centers today and get fresh savings of 25% off all paints and tiles store-wide. Come and give your home a fresh new look with fresh savings and fresh new colors. Fresh new piles of tiles in all styles with a fresh 25% off store-wide on all paints and tiles at Horswood's Building and Evil Center. Give your home a fresh start with a fresh new look with fresh new colors, fresh new piles of tiles in all styles, and fresh quality paint at Horswood's Building and Evil Center. Fresh Look 25% off paints and tiles sales event. See store for details.
Triple that cash back. From now until December 31st, Hosford's Furniture and Appliances in Ashley Furniture Home Store is going to triple that cash back. You heard right. Hosford's is going to triple that never-ending cash back now with 3 big ways to save. 1. Get low monthly and weekly payments and no payment until February 2023. 2. Get a chance to win absolutely free groceries for 1 year. 3. Triple that never-ending cashback at Hosford's Furniture and Appliances in Ashley Furniture Home Store for even more groceries. Triple that cashback today at Hosford. Triple the savings. Triple the free groceries. Triple the extraordinary. Triple that never-ending cashback today. See store for details.
And we're back with Trista and Tricia from the Consumer Affairs Department. I did get the information from the
thank you.
From the caller. The only problem is the call got dropped at one point, but I got most of the information that he wanted to impart. So now my question about your remit as far as customer service. You know, sometimes you go into a supermarket and you're browsing and one of the shelf packers, I think they call them replenishers, I think that's the technical term, and they're packing the shelves and you ask them, maybe this doesn't have a price, or do you have so and so, and then they just go like no, I don't know the price, and then they continue what they're doing. And depending on the mood I'm in, I'll tell them a new one about that, about their attitude, right?
Yes.
Other times, I'll just be nice. I say, could you please go and find out the price for me? Depends on the mood I'm in. But does your remit include maybe encouraging or even setting up customer service workshops and so on for the retailers? I just wondered. I mean, consumer affairs, so I'm
not
wondering.
Necessarily.
No? Okay.
Because customer service, that's for the business. So in a situation where you feel like you are not getting proper customer service, you then choose if you still want to do business with that retailer. That's your right to choose. So you don't have to spend your money in a store that you feel.
But at the same time, I mean, don't you think, I mean, just for argument's sake, don't you think you're the Consumer Affairs Department? Don't you think it would make your remit more rounded if that was part of of what you do.
No,
It seems reasonable to
because
no,
we cannot.
no, I'm not saying that that's not on the store, but I mean just as you can tell stores, okay, you can't put up a refund sign, and you can't. You have to have you have to take things off the shelf at a certain date when they're past their best buy and past the expiration date. I don't think it's a stretch to say you should organize some consumer affairs workshops and say, well, we're doing this free of charge because we want this, because let's face it, not every business person is as fervent about making consumer. Listen, I like to say, customer service is supposed to be religion. You know, it's like religion in North America, and I think down here it's like customer service is afterthought a lot of the time, right? So, and it's not all businesses aren't equal as far as how they prepare their workers to their customer facing workers to deal with customers. So I'm just thinking it's a reasonable extension of what the Consumer Affairs Department should be doing. Just saying.
But James, so we have already done that. Listen, you see this, what I'm really looking for? This was a workshop we invited the business owners, some business owners too. And this was at the end. We're telling them to put themselves in the shoes of the consumers. And as I'm going to quote, as a business owner, your goal is to solve the problem, not argue. The consumer should feel like you are on his or her side and that you empathize with the situation. This is when they're complaining. We also should understand that manufacturing faults can occur. And what if this had happened to us or to the business owners? How would they feel? A satisfied customer or consumer is a happy consumer, and a consumer that will keep on shopping at your establishment. So we shouldn't be forcing any business place to make the consumers feel welcome. They should be a part of their creed.
Well, not force, but more like, I mean, it's like, for example, the health department, for example, is not going to force people to, let's say they're doing PSAs about, brushing your teeth and stuff. They're not forcing people to brush your teeth, but their remit is to make people understand the importance of flossing and all this stuff. So it's the same way with you guys. Yeah.
We have tried. We have had so many different workshops and meetings with the business owners and so forth.
Okay.
At one point in time, we were trying to organize some workshops with their employees. But of course, you know what their cry is. Who's going to be in the stores during their working hours?
Yeah, I've heard that argument.
Yeah, so
before.
that in itself, but we've reached out to them more than once to try to organize that. But of course, they don't want to attend meetings.
Have you ever tried a like kind of on the job? Try and work up like a on the job one where you're there unobtrusively and you're like, maybe you go there in the morning, maybe half an hour before they start, and you kind of just you.
Some of the bosses don't even want to lose 1 minute.
No, meaning like
you
condense it down to maybe a 5-minute talk, and then you say, okay, I'll watch you, and maybe during your lunch break, I'll come and
during their
critique.
Lunch break. Remember the bosses, some of them will get half an hour.
I'm just for argument's sake, I'm being devil's advocate.
They don't want their employees to lose 1 hour of their time to do anything. And I always feel that if your workers, your employees are well trained, they're going to encourage the consumers to continue to come.
Exactly.
And it's money in your pocket.
And you actually make more money.
Yes.
Yeah, because when you train your your workers. When you train your workers to be welcoming and productive, the business's profit actually increases.
I had a trolley of stuff and I asked, well, as a matter of fact, the consumer should not even be asking any worker for the prices. The prices should be there. If you really want to, because going up to the cashier to ask them, can you scan this and tell me the price? It taking time from your consumers. inform your consumers in shopping around. Because by the time when they reach the cashier, they might say, let me say I'm done, buddy.
Yeah.
I ain't going to shop for nothing else. And it's also taking time from your cashiers in terms of dealing with persons. At one point in time, I had an incident. I asked for a price, and the actual supervisor of the floor was like, see a scanning machine there, so you could go and scan it. So I told her, okay. And I left all the items in the trolley and I walked out.
Speaking of which, last time I was at Best Buy, I remember musing. I said, they used to have scanners, because a couple times I had to go up to the top to, go up to the POS to get something scanned. I was kind of wondering idly. I said, I know they've had scanners like twice or three times, and then you see them disappear.
Scanners are still there, because I remember scanning something up to last week.
Really?
Somebody else still have scanners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them. I was just wondering if you knew what the reason was why they disappear sometimes. Okay. Oh, really?
I scanned something there last week.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so it's 1:16. I'll let you guys wrap up now. I know you guys probably want to go get some lunch and so on, and probably bring me some. Send me some. You can send it. No. Listeners, in case you just joined us, I have Trista and Tricia from the Consumer Affairs Department, and they basically sacrificed their lunch hour to come and tell us all the things that we should be doing and some of the things that we need to know to maximize our consumer experience. So I'm going to let them do their wrap up now. If any calls happen to come in during that wrap up, we can take it.
Okay. Just want to thank you, Jamster and WinFM, for having us here to try to educate the consumers as much as possible. And just want to tell consumers they have a lot of buying power. The power lies with them, with consumers, because without the consumers, the businesses would not be anything. They would not even be making a profit. We have a tendency of saying that, we must need them. Yes, we must need them, but they also need us too. Regardless of what, they need us as consumers.
Two-way street.
And basically, we just have to encourage consumers to shop wisely, carefully. This Christmas season, there are a lot of pop-ups and a lot of specials and discounts and so forth. We have to remember that after the season, we would have to, put our heads together and did I really make this decision? Did I really went for this loan and so forth? You have to make sure at the end of the day you will be comfortable with whatever they're offering. Don't just buy impulse buying. You have to always remember at the end of the day, how is it going to be tomorrow? You can think about doing everything today, which would be good, because of the false advertising. Or I wouldn't say false, but the advertising that is happening now. You have to remember and ask yourself, after this, what? If there are any fine prints, read them. If they didn't tell you, ask. A lot of specials are happening. We have to make sure we educate ourselves and read a lot. If they don't tell us what the fine prints are, and don't sign no contract at all without even reading the contract, you don't know, because then there might be, the special might say it runs for 2 years at a certain percent. And then after this, the 2-year span, it gone back up to the full maximum percentage. Loans and so forth have a tendency of doing that. So you have to be careful, educate consumers as much as we could. We are here to help consumers. Anybody wants us to even come to the businesses to have a dialogue with them, their workers or anybody, they can reach out to us.
Does that include what we were talking about just now, where you might have maybe a progressive-minded business owner who might say, listen, you guys, I want you to come and talk to my work as well, customer service.
Yes. There are some business owners who actually, they praise Consumer Affairs because what they would say that they don't want to fall in the cracks that, to start to do anything wrong. They want to make sure that they're actually within the laws and so forth. So some actually praise consumers, and if we pull them up with anything, even for expired stuff and whatever, they would tell us, thank you or whatever. But we shouldn't even be coming to your establishment to take out expired stuff either. you should be open-minded enough that anything goes wrong, you're selling expired stuff, and anything happens to the consumer who digests these expired stuff, you can be sued. So we try to educate them as much as possible. Businesses, as I said, are consumers too, but they have to be open-minded that anything can happen. And of course, always remember that the consumers are there to help them as much as they're there to help the consumers.
Yes. Tricia?
So it is our hope that the shopping tips and the advice that we give will actually make this year's shopping experience stress-free and enjoyable for the consumers. And for more information or to file complaints, consumers can contact us. We are located at on the ground floor of the Nagico Insurance Building, which is located at Bladen's Commercial Development in Bastille. So our office number is 465-2521, extension 1550, or extension 3211, or extension 2616. We can also
2640.
Was that the other
2640,
extension?
2640.
Also extension 2640. We can also be reached via email, consumeraffairs@gov.kn, or on our Facebook page, St. Kitts Consumer Affairs Department. So there is multiple ways consumers can get in contact with us and let us know what is going on in specific supermarkets.
Yes. Do you have a WhatsApp number? Like, have a cell phone that might have a WhatsApp number? You never know.
No, we don't.
No? Okay.
But our Facebook page is active. So
Yes.
once you send a message on our Facebook page,
Yes.
we get it.
Yeah, we get it.
So,
and you can file the complaint right from the comfort of your home.
Oh, that's good.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have many ways to contact us. Let us know what is going on, and we, like I said, one of the main areas of the Consumer Affairs Department is to investigate. So as long as we are informed, we will investigate and try to resolve any consumer issues.
Okay. Ladies, great show. Trista and Tricia from Consumer Affairs. Now, I should extend an invitation. If anything comes up between now and that day, or maybe during the season that you think you might want to come and talk to the listeners about, you just reach out to Shireen upstairs,
No problem.
and you're free to come back at any time.
Thank you.
All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And you guys enjoy your lunch and have a great weekend and a great Christmas and Carnival. And I await my lunch.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you about a half an hour to send it.
Okay, then.
All right, guys. Nice talking with you. It was fun. I
Yeah,
just
it
wish we
was.
had more calls.
That's okay.
Yes. Okay. All right.
You have a great day.
Okay, I will. So it's 1:23. It's the last half of Voices, the second half, and it's brought to you by Hospitals. Let's get a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back in our last 7 minutes, and I'll take your calls. Open phone line until 1:30.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA Value Club Christmas specials running December 1st through 14th. Nature Valley granola bars $12.99. Super Chill sodas $6.99. Sunny Delights tangy and smooth $4.99. Celeste pizzas $6.99. Essential Everyday fries $13.99. Essential Everyday barbecue sauces $5.99. And now our very low weekly value deals. Multi-meal cereals $13.99. Pillsbury cake mixes $6.49. Purex liquid laundry detergents $14.99. Dial soap $9.99. Palmolive dish liquid $9.49. Renews It adjustable air freshener just $4.99. Shop smart, shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Well, it's 1:26, the final moments of Voices, and we heard from two agents from the Consumer Affairs Department, and they spent about it's at 2.5, well, two and a quarter hours with us. 2.25 hours. How's my math? Yeah, okay. And we were discussing consumer affairs. You know, with two VAT days coming up on December 16th and 17th, we thought it was timely for them to come in and speak. Actually, I was just speaking to them during the commercial break, and they were they were actually saying that you guys are probably going to go and air your complaints on the Consumer Affairs Facebook page. But as you heard me say, they are welcome to come back at any time. And I really wish we had more calls, but it was still a pretty good show, and I learned a lot. I'm sure the listeners learned a lot as well. In the remaining time, if anyone wants to give us a call about anything, we have about 3 minutes left. Anything at all, you can give us a call. You know, it's Christmas and Carnival. Lots of stuff being going on. I actually attended a soca workshop last night. I could tell you guys about that. Actually attended a soca workshop last night, and there was also a 2-day workshop as part of that exercise on Sunday and Monday. So Carnival is heating up, and the judges, the Calypso and soca judges, are trying to hone their judging skills. So we had that last night. We had a pretty compelling and engaging facilitator from Trinidad by the name of Nubia Williams, and she was it was a lot of fun, and she had a lot of really cool, I must say, she had a lot of really cool and insightful exercises that I've never had done in workshops before, that made you I never thought about that particular thing in relation to a calypso or a soca. So that was very refreshing. And so I want to say thank you to Monarch and Ronnie Rascal, Shannon, Alistair, and all the people who were responsible for putting that together. And of course, the panelists, the judging attendees. We had a lot of fun. So we're getting ready for Carnival, and I think on this weekend we're going to be having 2 tents. I think, the Legends tent will be at Bingo's on Wellington Road on Thursday, and I'm not sure where Grandmasters. I know Grandmasters had a review last night, but I know on this weekend we're having the Calypso Eliminations. I'm not sure if it's Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday, but it's definitely this weekend. So we really want all you guys to go on out and support the Calypsonians as Carnival unfolds. As you know, we had the opening ceremony on the weekend. Now next week I might be doing voices for a few days. We are trying, this is not confirmed yet, but I'm just going to throw it out there. We are trying to get the new head of culture, Robertine Webb. I was very intrigued, I must say. I think she just graduated with a degree in performing arts and like cultural studies and stuff. And I was very intrigued with the Carnival, the Sugar Mass Wonderland concept, and all of the things that were brought to bear on the production for the opening of Carnival. So we're hoping to have her next week someday. I'm putting on notice. I'm hoping to have her next week so she can come and discuss her vision for the Department of Culture in terms of the arts, in terms of the arts, carnival, and St. Kitts Nevis culture. So we're going to see how that works out next week. So it's 1:30, and we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Hosford's, once again. And this is Jamster signing off for Voices. I should be back with you. I'm not sure about Friday, but I'll definitely be back with you for Voices next week. So keep your ears open. And Voices is on Mondays, Tuesdays, on Wednesdays on Win FM. This is Jamster signing off. Voices, it was fun.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
It's Festive Fridays! Meet the National Carnival Committee at Festive Fridays downtown Bass